Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today, I'm excited to bring to you from Wave 3 of Transformers Legacy. This is Deluxe Class Crankcase. Crankcase is a repaint and retool, heavy retool, of Wave 1 skids. We'll see in a little bit. And I got this figure off of eBay, so I paid a little extra. Not much, not too bad. But it actually has already been spotted in retail and might start shipping from online retailers sooner than later. Just be prepared because I'm recording this on a Saturday, and basically the Friday before, found out a slew of pre-orders, including those of you who had Ironhide, Studio Series 86 Ironhide pre-ordered. Those dates, which some of them were well into next year, got pushed up to this coming week, which would be the first week of November. So, yeah, that's on Amazon. Other retailers, I'm not sure. So, oh boy, kind of hard to keep a budget when you have to plan that something 3 or 4 months in advance comes early. But that's the name of the game. Anyway, I'm a little disappointed in Crankcase. Now let me go over some of the positives. I like the look of the vehicle, and I'm a little overly critical just because Crankcase is a Triggercon. I actually had this guy as a kid. Basically going into the late 80s, really all that was left was G.I. Joe and Transformers, and they started making them smaller and more affordable, so I was able to get more. And it was a really cool figure. And in fact, let me remove this gun. This is a re-release of the gun that came with Skids. The only difference now, it's all in clear plastic. I'm not sure Skids' gun was clear plastic and painted. So it's that the smoked gray that matches the windshield there. But as you can see, these paint lines are actually where the guns would pop out. And if you can look in, there are the guns sitting there. So that's a nice little touch. Unfortunately, you can't have any of that functionality. There's no spring out gun launchers. In fact, I don't think they were springs on Crankcase. I think they were that like wind up ratcheting type of thing. So that was kind of cool. You do have all the 5mm ports. Well, I like that in the front wheel. It's in the axle, so you can do that. And the rolls quite nicely. Now, my issues with this, and the reason why I'm a little nonplussed, is the instructions are absolutely terrible. I mean, for a minute, I forgot how to transform skids, and it was like they were having you do steps out of order. It was just not enjoyable, and I think a lot of that has to do with the retooling they did. And I think that compromised parts of the transformation. Probably should have gone with a new mold. But other than that, it rolls. So how about we come back with the transformation. Okay, to start the transformation, if you haven't already removed this gun, do so. And then come into the front here and remove the front bumper, which is going to turn into Crankcase's other gun. Now, whereas Skids came with 3 weapons, technically Crankcase only comes with 2, although you can make the argument that the shoulder guns are the third. I'm just looking to see if I can peg that in, and I can't. Can I do this? You can do that if you want to do something like that. Yeah, this really looks way off. I thought it would be better in hand. I do like that they did mold in the barrels and stuff, but this is all hollow, so you would want this facing outside. And it's actually a different molding from the front there, so yeah, and it's blast effect compatible, so you got that. So to start the transformation, flip up the back wheels like you would do on Skids. But now what you're going to do is flip up these side panels, which do sort of peg in, and just get them out of the way. And that's part of the problem I have with the robot mode. And next what you want to do is grab this rear end and fold it straight out. And then what you'll do is unpeg it from the top here, and just like so. And what I would do first is before you pull everything down, is come underneath and bring these arms out. And what's interesting is they do double hinge. So that is a new trick to the transformation. So you want to unpeg the forearms from the side there, fold it in, and then bring it out, just like so. And then bring the arms up so they're facing forward. Now what you're going to do is, if you remember from skids, is first you want to bring down the waist piece and snap it into place right there, and then bring the hips down and forward like that. And the instructions are terrible at showing you that. First of all, they have you fold the arms up first. Don't do that, because as soon as you start fiddling trying to fold up the hips, you're going to unpeg them and knock them out of place to begin with. And secondly, whereas they show you to fold this section down, they basically have the collapsing as just one like natural motion. So really, when going back into vehicle mode, when you get to this point, bring the hips forward, just like so, and then bring back that waist joint. And it should, and you'll probably just, in getting in position, snap it into the top there. And then you can bring that, and then bring the arms in, and then bring that back section down. So there's that. Let me just get back to where we were. Bring the chest section down. That will sort of friction into place. And one thing I do want to point out, there is a natural gap between the windshield and the Decepticon symbol. So if you get this figure and you notice the gap, it's meant to be there. So don't get nervous. So once you bring the chest down, what you want to do now is come back here, and on the double hinge, bring the backpack section up. And in all honesty, it just sits there. There are some clear tabs that sort of slot into that black section right there, but it's not wonderful. And if you can, reach in and bring down the shoulder guns a little, just like that. I mean, but they're so small, I would understand if you miss them. Finally, close up the leg panels. They're going to peg into place on the side there. And here you have Crankcase in its robot mode. All the same articulation as skids. It can hold its weapons, obviously. This gun I always preferred. First of all, this gun I'm not a fan of, because it needs that two double barrel blaster that skids had to look more complete. But I usually just, instead of the hand, I go for in the shoulder. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice figure. All the same articulation as skids. Very classic looking G1-ish style head. And don't forget, you do have that 5mm port now in the chest. It was a nice effect that they used that front grille to change it enough to make it go from like that Honda City to an armored SUV. And bringing skids in, you can see a lot more of the differences. First of all, the head sits very different. It's a whole different panel system. The windshield on the back and the roof sit flush on the back, where here on a Crankcase, it kind of sticks out more. You don't have the door wings like you do with skids. I mean, you can fold those out, but they look kind of odd. In terms of the arm transformation, the way they end up, the wheels go out to the side instead of towards the back. That's that blaster I was talking about that goes well with that gun. Other than that, the lower waist is basically the same. The legs, the front shins. They actually even retooled this back section here to include that spare tire and that, so it's a completely, just adjust my grip, and it's a completely different back. So, I mean, they did put the effort in to retool this, but I think, with all the changes they made Crankcase a little more fiddly than it needs to be. Fiddlier, more fiddly. But I mean, it's not to say it's not enjoyable, but I think I enjoy Skids more, a lot more. It's just a better figure, especially you get that Velocitron repaint, the black one. Uh, that'll work. But I mean, Crankcase, it is what it is. So yeah, I guess that's about it. We'll pause and we'll come back with my final thoughts. So yeah, like I said, Crankcase is fine, but I am disappointed by the end result. I think it should have been a new tooling. I would have liked to have seen more of an emphasis on the Triggercon gimmick, since that's really what people remember from Crankcase. Uh, I mean, it didn't have to have a spring or a wind up motorized gimmick. You could have just had the blasters fold out, but it would have been nice to have seen. And I think it would have been a lot nicer than those small little nubs we have. So, why I could say you could pick this up if you're a fan of Crankcase. If you really like the Skids mold, um, you might find this a little fiddlier, more fiddly than Skids, just because of the new parts, especially when getting everything together in vehicle mode. Um, but I mean, I would not say this is a first must-have pickup from Wave Three. I would, go for somebody else first. That's about it for the review. If you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. It does help with the algorithms in promoting my channel and telling YouTube that it should be exalted and held upon high. Um, as I always say, according to the algorithms and my analytics, 98% of you are not subscribed. If you're not subscribed, you're missing out on a lot. We do have some fun here. I've been doing a lot more shorts lately, and those can always be fun. They're a little tongue in cheek, and I like to have some fun with them, expressing some controversial opinions in the world. But yeah, it's that. But really, subscribe. Like I said, it does help overall with the algorithm. That's about it for the review. This is your old pal Chuck for Crankcase. We will see you next time.